Right, now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going. Close. I think he got it down.
How strong is he?
Oh, welcome back to the Pick and Go podcast, your one-stop shop for all things rugby union. And once again, I'm joined in studio by my good friend Piri Wipu. Piri, you're late.
Morena.
You're late, bro.
No, I'm not.
No, you were late.
No,
You
pretty
asked for an early-
You stuffed that up anyway.
You
It
asked.
usually takes you half an hour to sort that out. Anyway, good to be back in studio.
Yeah, good. Why don't we head up north to a couple of people who weren't late? We'll head to our good friend Ben Searle of Surly Talk Sports first. Surly, welcome back in, mate.
Yeah, it's good to see you two still bickering away every week, eh? You'd think by, like, international season, Super Rugby's done. We're, deep into September now, but we're still having some teething issues. It's great stuff.
And also joining us from up north, our good friend Jeff Wilson. Jeff, welcome back in.
Yeah, waiting patiently. Just waiting patiently. Paulie, I mean, I'd like you to open the show one time this year. Pity, welcome. You're on time. That's all I want. Just once.
Hey,
Well,
welcome.
I'd
You're
love
on
to be able
time.
to do that.
Even
I'd
early.
love to be
Even
able to do
early.
that.
you missed it. Last week it wasn't me. It was actually Surly.
Yeah, that was me last week.
Right. Okay.
It was a
Okay.
first, though. It was a first. I had an excuse. Pity never comes with an excuse. His car's been towed, all sorts of shit. But that's on air. He doesn't say it why he's late.
So, Paulie, all you do is you tell Pity one time and us the other time, and we will start on time. Right? You tell him at 8:30, we'll start at 9. Perfect. All right?
Okay, so I've got a pity time and I've got a you guys time.
Exactly.
Right. Okay, we'll try that out next week. I won't say anything, but yeah,
Hey,
next
what are
week.
we here for? Are we here for talking about rugby or just me being
I wish we could get on to the rugby part.
All right. Let's talk Wellington then. Sorry.
No,
My bad.
let's talk Harbour.
Hey, we had a chance. We had a chance.
Let's talk Otago. Yeah, baby,
Yeah.
here we come. Let's just not talk Southland. There we're good.
Right. I'll tell you what, we will talk. We'll talk a wee bit of punting first, and we'll have a look back at last week and see what happened. Piri Wipu had 2 bets. Now, geez. A multi, Harbour to win, Otago to win, Wellington to win, Taranaki to win, Waikato to win, Southland to win, and Tasman to win.
One team won.
If anyone heard that and they went the other way, they would have got close to a huge payout, I would say. How many of those won? Otago.
None. Otago probably the only one.
Yeah.
That was about it, was it?
Yeah, our Harbour were looking really good until they started the
We're looking really good.
They were in front on the scoreboard. That was them. They were looking really good.
Yeah, I don't think they looked really good, but we were winning.
No, I'll be fair. I don't think either team looked really good. Let's just be very clear here.
Right, and then you also had another bet, a draw at half time of the All Black Test, and then the All Blacks to go on and win it, and that was no good. So minus 100, down $1,715 for the season. Surly, one bright spot here. He had a multi, Otago to win, Tasman to win, Southland plus 3.5, I think it was.
13.5.
Not 15.5. That was no good anyway. And then your other bet was either team to win by under 7.5 in the All Black South Africa match. Bang. That one came in. Surly is only down $124.48 now for the season.
I love how he says that because he's about to read his one that he's up $1,000.
Exactly. I'm not going to say that. I had 2 bets. No, I had 1 bet. It was either team to win by under 7.5 in the All Black South Africa test into Southland plus 13.5. That was no good. Down 100 for the week, up $645.58 for the season. Right.
Goldie's still sitting good?
Yeah. Oh, let's have a look at Gold. He didn't flick any bets through.
So that's minus 200.
So
Come on.
Goldie is currently up $265 for the season.
Are you sure? I thought I had a collector last time I was on.
Yeah, you did. It was a collective $261.
Was I getting close to the skint? Okay.
You had a positive total of $4 prior to that win, and now you're up to
Hey, anything looks good to what Piri's got right now. I mean, I could miss for the rest of the year and still beat him. I mean,
Just you don't have to do too much, Goldie. It's
exactly.
all right. You only lose $100.
One of your miracle bets, if it comes off, you're winning, bro. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're winning by miles.
Zero. As long as I get back to zero.
Yeah.
Good luck with that one, mate.
It'd be easier to part the Red Sea than forget get one of Putty's bets up. Okay, I've got a question for everyone. The NFL season has kicked off, and boy, what a game yesterday. The Bills were gone. And then they came back. And tell you, they got out to $21 head-to-head live in their match against the Baltimore Ravens yesterday. So, with the NFL starting this weekend, can you give me 3 rugby players who you think would make it playing American football, and then also what position they would play? We'll start with you first, Shirley.
I've got Caleb Clark as a quarterback. We all know he can throw the ball as good as anyone. If you've seen him, he loves his NFL. So I've got him at quarterback. I've got Ardie Savea at tight end. Probably a little bit short, but I just thought how powerful, explosive he is. He'd be a great tight end. And then I had Cheslin Colby as a wide receiver, kind of like a Tyreek Hill type of play. Just electric speed and footwork, good in the air, athleticism. So yeah, we'll chuck Cheslin Colby at a wide receiver.
Nice. Yeah. I quite like the sound of all of those. Of course, we have seen Caleb Clark chuck the ball the length of the training field at All Blacks training. So, yeah, not bad. Jeff?
Geordie Barrett is a kicker who wipes out the opposition returner. So he's a punter who then chases his own kicks and literally annihilates somebody when they try and bring it back. I love that. Absolutely.
The kicker that was like that?
I think they used to have a former...
It was an Australian guy, wasn't
player, Aussie guy, yeah. And then when they ran back and got through the initial line of defence, he just went smack.
Yeah, I certainly would love that. And I'm sorry, but I would see Beauden Barrett as a quarterback in American football. I think he'd be fantastic. A guy who's got vision, got skill, got great footwork and speed. The fact that you can't touch the quarterbacks now, even better. You know, the fact that no one can run and put a hand on him. So I think he'd be absolutely outstanding. And you're right. You'd be hard-pressed to go past Ardie as a running back. I'm sorry. I mean, just, the fact, footwork, speed, stays in the fight, he's got power. I'd love to see him, Notice I didn't go anyone on the defensive side of the ball. Pretty much not interested in that, really. But you're right. The games yesterday, isn't a Monday awesome for NFL? Yeah. Like you just don't know what to track, what to watch. It's so good.
Yeah, I know exactly what to track, and that's the red zone. It's sensational.
Yeah, true.
Okay, Pity.
I went with Caleb Clark, but as a running back.
As a running back, yeah.
Yeah, and then Stephen Luatua as a quarterback because I've seen him throw a dart. And then I was going to go with Angus Tava for tight end.
Oh, Gus.
The big Gus.
Nice.
I don't think anyone get past that big melon of his anyway.
Oh,
wow.
Oh, sorry, Gus.
Gee.
Not sorry.
The old compliment with a massive insult at the end.
Just a straight backhand.
Soz, not soz. Yeah, I went with Ardie as a running back as well. I went with Zahn Sullivan as a tight end. I think he's got the size and he's deceptively quick. I think he'd make an impact at the tight end position. And then I was just going to go for a kicker and someone that had a really, really high percentage rate. And I was going back to Grant Fox, to be fair. I thought he'd be a great place kicker, picking up points.
Did you see how? Man, they've only got 25 seconds to take the kick. Foxy wouldn't get one off in time.
He'd
still be doing his little. He'll be doing his handshakes, and then all of a sudden, they're coming.
I'm sure he would be able to adjust to that. It's the only reason you use all that time is because you've got all that time.
Right, sure.
I think he would. He'd be able to. Yeah. Right, let's get on to some footy and look back at the big test match at Eden Park in the Fortress. it remains intact. The record there, that's 51 straight games. The All Blacks are unbeaten at Eden Park. That is a huge streak. And you don't want to be part of the All Blacks team to lose that record. But can we go back to the beginning, back to 1994? Is there anyone on this panel who was part of the team that played France?
I wasn't there, mate.
Back in 94, when the All Blacks lost, I think it was 23-20. It could have been a try from the end of the earth. Anyone here who has first-hand knowledge of that game? Jeff?
I've got first-hand knowledge, but you used the word played.
Part of that squad. Part of that squad.
Yeah, I didn't play.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't attribute that loss to my career at all. In fact, I never got on the field. It was the fact that I got to watch the try from the end of the earth, and I probably would have made as many tackles as everyone else did on that play. I actually bumped into Mark Cooksley, at the All Black reunion on Friday night. It was a great gathering, great group of people there, and he came over and we were talking about that day and that game, and he proceeded to tell me he made a tackle in that, but it was late. It was a late hit on someone who'd already passed the ball. That's more than a lot of other people done. If we'd systematically taken everyone out like that, they probably wouldn't have scored. What we did do was allow everyone who passed to stay in support and get the ball back. Look, it was a remarkable day, but it's remarkable to think, right? We're now at 51 test matches, you know, and probably through the 51 though, there's probably been, 10 to 12 that have been, you would say realistic, high chance threats at Eden Park, and one of those was on Saturday night, and the All Blacks delivered, and you'd have to say the Springboks didn't, particularly for 60 minutes. They didn't deliver, made far too many errors. We made less errors than they did. Auckland delivered thunderstorms out of nowhere once again. Remarkable that they can do that in a test match is on, which changed the whole context of the game, and we were just better for long enough, and I'm grateful we got those two tries early to change the context of the test match before the rain set in.
Surly, that's an amazing record. 51 straight at the same ground. Well, there are two draws in there, but that's a super record.
Yeah, it is, especially in the modern day, isn't it? And you could tell how much it meant to this team. There was a different intensity about them and a different swagger in the way that they were carrying themselves. They were determined to not be the team to lose that record, and I think it showed in the start in particular and in the performance. There was just a lot of heart and passion in that one. It felt like a Rugby World Cup final watching it.
Pity, were you impressed with the way that the All Blacks, I guess, started the game, but then were able to sustain that pressure throughout?
Yeah, I think it was just different to what we've seen in the previous 2 weeks in terms of intensity. And I think they actually showed up with the right attitude. I think might have helped that they might have had the goat there in camp for the week to try and tweak a few things, but getting the basics right was one of the main things, and maintaining the ball, which is but they hardly had any errors and forced a bit more pressure on the Springboks. But I mean, it's a hell of a game that they played on the weekend, and awesome that we predicted that the boys will maintain that the history and the of the rivalry, and then not only that, the continuance of the winning streak at Eden Park.
Just on that, all of us predicted it. Paulie didn't. He took the odds, didn't he?
He did.
I said either team to win by under 7.5. I'm sure it's on tape.
But when you asked us the question, you said that South Africa at 2:45 looked great.
Until the teams are named. And then I was going to make my call. And once they were named, I was confident.
No one heard your call, mate. No one heard your call.
Have you ever heard of editing? So what you do is you go back and then you add another little bit in. And so I've changed my mind. I've changed my tune. I will say this. I agree with you, though, in regards to I'm much the same when I saw their team. It just didn't resemble teams that have put us under real pressure for 80 minutes. And we didn't expect them to start as poorly as they did. They made unforced errors. That's something that's very un-Springbok-like. You know, and back-to-back errors and errors in pivotal parts of the field. But in saying that, we've done some real homework around some of the threats that they might pose, and we forced them into some of those mistakes. You know, we were clever about how we challenged their midfield maul option, the line-out per se in the middle of the field. We were clever about the ball. Wallace Satiti got around the end of a line-out when it went over the 15 that forced them into a couple of errors, and we contested at line-out time. So we took away one of their strengths, and then all of a sudden they really just struggled to get into position to score points. So I think you mentioned it, Pity. It had Wayne Smith's fingerprints over this game in terms of first 2 tries, identified a couple of opportunities to get one-on-ones with players, and we executed it well. And the other side of it was we put pressure on a strength of their game. And so when you look at it, there was one pivotal moment though, at the 60-minute mark, for us to turn down a 3 to go to a line-out which led to a try to get out to 14. You know, I'm not sure, you know, if Scott Barrett's got enough credit for that. You know, in terms of that leadership group going, you know what, if they're going to come home fast, it needs to be more than 10. And 14, I think, ended up being the reason we ended up holding on, because we did only just hold on.
Well, if we had have taken the shot at goal and got it, late in the game, they would have been 3 points down and deep inside our 25. And I think they had a number of penalties there as well, which maybe they would have gone for the draw. Maybe. I don't know. But that decision was pivotal in that game, 100%.
They wouldn't have gone for the draw.
You don't think they
No,
still
they would have gone for a win.
They would have.
It's a point. They would have been pointless. They still would have been the 51 tests. You come all that way, and then you got a chance to beat the All Blacks. There's no way they're going for a draw. They're going for the win.
But funnily enough, back in 1994, the very first game after the French loss was the 18-all draw with the Springboks. Were you part of that one, Jeff?
So once again, I didn't play. Laurie ignored the bench. It was almost like you were stuck to it. In fact, we didn't even warm up in those days. You just sort of sat there, and someone had to break something before you got a chance to get on the field. Like it was, you know, there was no show that Sir John Kerwin was looking over there and going, I'm going to give him a go. You know, like it was, I would have had to shoot someone for me to get a chance to get on the field.
Well,
so
what were the laws back then? Could you actually come on just as a replacement?
No, there was no tactical
injury or something.
It was injury.
Right.
Yeah. So that's sort of, you just sort of sat there and you just watched the game play out. It didn't matter if someone got tired. You know, they just had to, you know, in those days you didn't fake injury, and that was the classic. You never gave another person a shot in the jersey just in case you never got it back. You know, sort of thing. So I got to witness that as well.
So does that mean you had to do the extras after because you never got on the field?
Nah, we never did extras, bro. So good. Oh, none of them, man. Oh, I can tell you what some of the other. It would have been. Imagine Richard Lowe doing extras after a game. You can go and get. Yeah.
Wow, we're going back to the dark ages here. It's a totally different game.
Mate, we're still warming up in the shed. We're still doing the count to 10 and high knees and stuff, you know, like you know those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so good, you know. You get out of the changing room, it's like the sun or the rain or whatever. Oh, so brilliant.
Right, but back to the game. It's gone off the rails. Oh boy. Back to the game, and Ardie Savea, another huge moment for him. It was a milestone game, and he played like it was a milestone game, Searley.
Yeah, he's just a beast, isn't he? And everything about him, you just have to love the leadership, the way he plays, the person he is. You can just tell he's held in the utmost respect, not just by All Blacks players and fans, but everyone around the world. And yeah, I was just stoked that he had that moment. He was always going to have something in this game, wasn't he? And he's just that type of player. I reckon he's one of the best to wear the jersey. He's just, a freak. And his worst game is a 7.5 out of 10, and his best is a 10 out of 10. Like the difference between his best and his worst is not a lot. And I thought he was really good on the night, and I was stoked that we got the win for him on the 100th, because we couldn't for Cody Taylor the week before, and I'm sure that was a real sour point for the boys. So I was glad to see them protect that record as well, because that would have been a bit of an unfortunate tarnish on his career, because that would have been the game that everyone remembered, Ardie's 100th, and we lost at Eden Park.
Jeff, the forwards were superb against the Springboks. If you look at it, and the Springboks, who are usually so dominant at set piece, the All Blacks were, you might as well say they were dominating the Springboks at big sort of chunks of that game.
Yeah, particularly, like I say, in the first half, I think tactically really, really good. You'd have to say, though, there were a few pivotal moments in the second half that they used their impact off the bench to put us under pressure. And, Tamaiti Williams, Tyrell Lomax will be a lot better for another 40 minutes on the pitch. Tyrell hasn't played any rugby. And he looked as though, it was a pace that you're not used to if you're coming off the bench, particularly when they had to push hard at the back end of it. But across the board, like I said, I think tactically we were really strong. Funny enough, a couple of Ardie's best moments in the game were when he shifted to number 8. And we'd had a couple of HIAs and he had to shuffle around. And, it's one of those things with Ardie is that his moments are pivotal at times. The one thing he's not as a 7, you'd say, is he's not relentless on the ball. From ruck to ruck, if you watch him, he has to pick his moments, and that's something that's very different to what we've had in the 7 jersey. Normally, we've just got Sam Cane and before him Richie McCaw. They just kept going at every single one. He's a different type of a player. So I think we've got to find a balance, of being able to put pressure on the opposition. But I think collectively we did that really well. I think Wallace is going to be better for the experience again. For me, the standout was Parker, because he had a big right shoulder and a big left shoulder and a big body that was in front of them constantly, and we didn't lose the collisions when he was in the one-off running zone. Because let's be honest, that's what the Springboks bought. So between Tupavai, Scott Barrett, and Parker, I think we had our inside channel protected really, really nicely and really, really well. So, we delivered. You have to deliver up front. The interesting part for me is you got to go and do it all again. And if we're going to show that we are getting better as a team, we've got to back that performance up with another performance. It shouldn't take protecting a record at Eden Park to get that type of commitment to a performance like we did, because doing it once against South Africa is great. Doing it twice is very, very difficult. And they've named already a very different side.
If Eden Park is the fortress, then I guess you could say that down here
it's the tinny house. It's the tinny house.
Come on now, you got to phrase this.
It's a tinny house. Well, we haven't had.
We've fallen asleep a couple times there. It's the tinny house, mate. Come on.
We haven't had the kind of success.
It's called Sky Stadium, team. Sky Stadium.
Yes. Yep, Sky Tinny House. What?
We sponsor a lot of things, but
did you feel like it was different when you played down here?
No,
because the results were somewhat different.
Not always. I think it was just more the occasion more than anything. I think, obviously, when you come here, it's a totally different environment. You're not getting those everyone wanting to come to Auckland, because there's obviously a bigger stadium. You can host more. There's more things you can do around there. Whereas here, it's a smaller, compact stadium. But not only here. I mean, even Dunedin, Hamilton, Christchurch, when they get their new stadium up and running, it's a totally different environment compared to Eden Park, and so. Not everything's on the line, but it's like for being when you're in camp, you don't really think about things like that. You think about trying to make sure that you back up your performances week in, week out. It doesn't matter where you are. You've got to be consistent with that. And like Goldie said, it's one thing winning at Eden Park, but you've got to be, if we want to be moving forward in the right direction, they have to put in a consecutive performance like that back to back. And then obviously they might have a break, and then they've got to repeat the same thing going against Australia as well. They played really well in the first test against Argentina, and obviously had that mishap after. So they have to be a lot more consistent from back in terms of back-to-back tests.
Speaking of Argentina, they were in Townsville on the weekend, and well, if we want to talk about good starts, they got off to a great start, Argentina, and looked like they probably should have gone on with the job. But credit to the Wallabies, they fought back and they had the opportunity to tie it all up, and they decided no. I'll give them kudos for that, and they were able to execute afterwards as well, Surly. So is that... Would you be happy if you were a Wallabies fan, you came out with a win there, or would you be happy if you're an Argentinian fan and you went so close to knocking over the Wallabies in Townsville?
Yeah, I guess 21 points to 3 in the second half, and the Wallabies get the win. So I think Argentinian fans might be a little bit gutted. They had an opportunity right before half time to score again and probably put the foot on the throat. They just couldn't execute. And then the Wallabies much improved in the second half. I was watching this one at a pub in Bondi, and I can say people are interested in Aussie rugby again. I found it really interesting. People were roaring when they chose not to kick the 3 and go for the try and then got the win. So I was surprised at the amount of passion in particular in that area for the footy. I think people are well and truly back invested in the Wallabies, and I thought Joseph Suaalii was great. Jorgensen was good. They've got some strike when they use it. Wilson keeps growing. I reckon he's a great player and an inspirational leader too. It was a little bit of a get out of jail in terms of, I thought Argentina were by far the better team in the first half. Wallabies turned it on in the second, but it was a good game to watch. I think both teams are good, aren't they? And we're going to see how good the Wallabies are when they come here, but it sets up excitement for the Bledisloe. Gone are the days where you can write them off, that's for sure. They've got a bit of something about them. You can tell that they're playing with a bit more about them at the moment than they have in previous years.
Jeff, were you impressed with how the Wallabies fought back in Townsville?
Really impressed. In regards to them not taking the 3, like they had a bonus point anyway. So the difference between getting 1 and 2 points versus 1 point, like it's a no-brainer if you're a coach. You know, like I would have expected a team to go and play for that, because it doesn't, getting a draw in the Rugby Championship wasn't really going to help you. I mean, I don't think in terms of winning the competition. So for me, I'm hoping that was the process going, well, let's go for the win. Let's play for the win in terms of the points of the competition. That to me makes no sense anyway. You only get 1 more point. So to me, I just sort of look at this and go, this is a mindset about how that they want to play the game. But I'll give you 2 names, Joe Schmidt and Mike Cron. What they've got is a scrum that they haven't had for 20 years. So they haven't had a scrum that they can rely on and trust that the opposition can't take advantage of when you get under pressure. But for years, the All Blacks, you guys went to it, right? When let's get a scrum penalty. No different what the Springboks do to a lot of teams. Let's get a scrum penalty, take a little bit of sting out. And we were used to getting multiple penalties up front, whereas now they can scrum, and they've got a young group of players who are only going to get better up front. Hooper's a hell of a player. McBride's you talked about Wilson, Valentini's around. Like this is not a team that's aging. This is not a team that's going to get and struggle. People started to think when they lost Slipper, who'd been playing some of his best rugby, they might struggle up front. Platform to me was still really good, so that gives them a chance against anybody then, because what they have got is they've got a skill set, and they've got some talent like a Joseph Suaalii, Jorgensen. I really like what I see out of this group. So the 4 teams in this Rugby Championship can all beat each other, pure and simple. And it's going to take 80 minutes to do it. And, I think this is what we want this competition to be. So I like what Australia are bringing. It'll be a sellout at Eden Park. It'll go on the line again. The record there, and they're going to be a threat.
This is one of the closest Rugby Championships in recent memory for mine. It is so any team can turn up on the day and beat any other team. This is so good for the competition. Once again, the Wallabies, everything is based on the foundation that is laid by the forwards. And they've got some really, really good forwards. Well, they've got a forward pack that are all on the same page. And as Jeff says, that's why they're able to come back in a match, they can set that foundation and go. So can you remember playing against the Wallabies team where their forward pack outplayed the All Blacks pack? It can't happen too many times while you were playing, if at all.
I wouldn't say outplayed them. They might have played, might have had a couple of things that structurally in the game plan, but I wouldn't say set piece wise. When I played, I thought we were pretty dominant, especially in that at set piece at scrum. Anyway, there was one area that I knew that we tried to pride ourselves in was scrum and line out. I wouldn't say we were the greatest at lineouts, but we tried to make sure that we tried to win it. It didn't matter where, even though you want to try and win the line out at the back majority of the time because it allows you to get a good strike off with the backs. But I mean, no, it's been a while really in terms of being quite dominant. But I think their learnings from the whole South African trip for them was massive. Obviously they lost Skelton. He's gone back to La Rochelle, and they've just maintained the physicality and just tried to be physically dominant against the Argentinians. But I'm pretty sure they'll continue that throughout the course of the championship, and I'm pretty sure that they'll try and back it up this week against the Pumas. That physicality took them bloody 40 minutes to start, but I mean, being able to claw back a margin like that at international level isn't easy, and if you're able to do that, if you can put that in the first 40 minutes of the game to maintain it, you're pretty dangerous.
I guess it's always good to have big bodies in that forward pack, and Will Skelton is that sort of player. It's not too dissimilar to Simon Parker. I know they play different positions, but you got a couple of big bodies in that pack, and I think it showed in that Lions series. Will Skelton did give them a whole lot of go forward when they needed it. And we're running out of time again. I can't believe it. So let's move quickly on to the NPC, and the results over the weekend were amazing. There were a number of upsets. So who was the biggest surprise for everyone here? We'll start with you, Surly.
I think that Bay of Plenty Taranaki score caught me off guard. I expected that one to be really close, if not Taranaki to win, after Bay of Plenty having some interesting results over the last couple of weeks. I could see the Southland game, them getting beaten purely because of the celebrations and how good Canterbury are. There were some other upsets too. I enjoyed Manawatu beating Waikato, things like that. But I didn't see that, 40-something to 17 scoreline in that Bay of Plenty game. I was shocked at that one.
For you, Jeff?
Watching that game, Taranaki just butchered try after try after try. I think, and so as much as the scorelines really flattering towards Bay of Plenty, it wasn't like Taranaki didn't have a heap of scoring chances. They just had one of those days where they couldn't get the last 5 minutes of the ball over the line, 5 metres of the ball over the line. But, I think that the Wellington title defence is to me, Hawke's Bay are good. I'll just go on the other side. I'll change the narrative on this. I thought Hawke's Bay are sneaky in this competition. Sort of, if you look at their squad and where they're strong in key positions, Godfrey playing really well, Whakatava at halfback, Sullivan at fullback. They've got quite a bit of experience. Jonah Lowe on the wing, just doing, at this level, at NPC level. So that surprised me because, I expected Wellington to be just to be better, and for the players that they've got in their squad, they've got some questions, about where they're at right now. So that's probably the one for me. I would expect them to be closer. And be playing some better rugby, but the Waikato one as well. You've gone from having the Ranfurly Shield, losing it to Southland, and then Manawatu at home in Nigley though. It's not an easy place to go and play, So I think that's what's great about this competition is you can't go to sleep, you can't fall off. And let's put a shout out your backs are against the wall, and you're going to play in Blenheim against Tasman. That's a good effort from Auckland. You know, it showed some grit and fight, and for them to get on the board now and you know, if they could win their last 4 games, and I know that's a big ask, but they could find their way into the playoffs. But yeah,
Same
I mean,
as
for them,
Harbour.
what's that?
Same as Harbour, you know, if they can win their last 4 games, playoff push.
No, that's not possible. I don't think.
Okay.
No, I underestimate. You have to win 5 games. I think you got to win 5 games to be able to sneak in. And the 2 bonus points that North Harbour have got to date out of 6 games, probably not going to cut it. So I think Auckland, you know, they're on 9 points, even though they've had 1 win. So they're an outside chance, you know. So you know, and Auckland's run home. What have they got? Manawatu, Counties, Hawke's Bay will be tough away, and then they've got Otago at home. So it's possible. It's possible.
Pretty. Look, we've got one team that's unbeaten so far, Canterbury at the top of the table. They've also got the Shield, just taking it off at Southland. We've got one team right at the bottom without a win, and that would be North Harbour. That would be Surly's North Harbour. Jeff has correctly stated they cannot make the business end of the season.
You're not taking
what
Goldie into the North Harbour?
Well, North Harbour is
too. Or?
Well, it depends. You know, when Otago's going good,
they're threatening my coaching record here. and as much as I want them to win, it's like, ooh, this could be.
Well, Southland just grabbed the shortest Ranfurly Shield tenure, didn't they? When it was only 6 days. I
thought someone had it for 5 days. Didn't Otago have it for 5 days or something crazy? He had to do a Sunday, Friday.
Oh, really?
I'm sure someone that won it on a Sunday lost it on a Friday. I'm sure someone's done that in recent times.
Jeez.
Check that out.
Solomon Grundy. Anyway, Pity, your biggest surprise from the weekend?
Auckland, only because of pretty much you wouldn't expect them to be 0-5 leading into round 6, and then playing against Tasman, who are without some of their key players, you know, can still turn teams over. So that'd probably be one of them, and then the Taranaki Bay Plenty game.
Nice. Yeah, I thought Auckland as well. That's huge for them to have to go down to Blenheim, take on the Tasman Markle. Possibly the Markle had one eye on this weekend's game, but that's no excuse, really. They should have been able to take care of a very young Auckland team.
They did have injuries to old Tasman, because they had 3 of their boys that were meant to fly down on Saturday back down to Wellington, down to Nelson. They come up on the ferry, their Tasman development team, and then, boy, you're going to need to fly you back down to the Marcos.
Oh, dear.
Boys.
Right. We're running out of time. We were going to do a bit of a quick review of last weekend's games. We've sort of already done that to a certain extent, but can we just touch on the Shield Challenge, Jeff? And unfortunately for Southland, looks like they played their final up in Waikato the week before.
Yeah, and they kept playing it for about another 48 hours afterwards. Right. But it was look, this was always a reality. You're coming up probably against the best team in the competition, clearly at Canterbury right now, and they're so consistent. They're just playing great rugby. They really are. You know, in different types of games, they can score points or they can grit up defensively. This is a good team, so it was always going to be tough for Southland. It's almost like the week probably got to them in terms of they were just outplayed and outclassed, you know. But in the 6 days it was down there, understanding is the Shield went everywhere again. Everyone got another taste of it. The ground was pretty much sold out. So in terms of Shield rugby, you know, it won't go down as one of the great reigns, but it's up for someone. Please, someone go to Christchurch. Take it off them. Because
what about your team?
We don't want to get stuck. I like the fact that moves. I'd hate to see it get stuck anywhere, but it's going to be a tough ask. And saying that, you know, the difference being if they held on for the season, then all of a sudden next year it'll be played for under the roof in a new stadium, you know, which would be pretty cool. And so, yeah, look, just Canterbury were too good.
Surly, if you look back on that Shield challenge, obviously Southland would be slightly disappointed with the effort they put in, but as Jeff says, Canterbury are the benchmark this season.
Yeah, I thought defensively they were huge. Their loose forward trio, man, the work rate and like Christie, that bloke just goes hard 24/7, right? He is like the work rate that he gets through. And regardless if they have injuries, they seem to just roll another cab off the rank and they fit into the system perfectly. So, yeah, they're humming at the moment. Tasman this week, Otago next week. If they can defend it both times there, then they deserve to have it over the summer. But, yeah, they've got a couple big challenges coming up. I'd love to see Otago get it in 2 weeks' time. I'm not just saying that because Jeff's on the show, but to me, like, they have been one of the best watchers of the comp so far. I just love what they're building down there in Otago. A young squad that plays exciting footy, and I'd love to see them go down there and knock off their rival. But, yeah, Tasman, I definitely think they staggered their team to get up for it this week. They prioritise that as the number one thing, and they will be up for this one too. So, yeah, we're going to get two great defences over the next 2 weeks, potentially.
I know exactly what Surly's doing here. He wants Canterbury to beat Tasman this weekend, then Otago to take the Shield off Canterbury the weekend
27
after.
September.
North Harbour then get a challenge. And how ironic would it be if the only game that North Harbour win this season is a Shield challenge down in Otago?
All my friends have been saying this. Worst season in Harbour history, but we end up with the Shield, so it goes down in folklore, and all of a sudden this team is just trumpeted, and you best believe I'll be flying to Forsyth Bar if they get a crack. I will be there.
Oh, we might have to take the pick and go down there and do it live from Forsyth.
How big's the budget? Let's have a crack. Why not?
We'll fly down with Jeff in his private bloody plane, so it won't cost us too much.
Oh, we might have to do it on the course then if he's going down there in his private jet.
As long as he's not at Te Aro that day, we'll be all right.
Yeah, only chopper everywhere, boys. I don't know. There's no planes, just chopper everywhere. You guys,
right?
Seriously. But I hope you're right. And then you're wrong about North Harbour. So there you go.
Oh. Right, let's move on to a couple of games, NPC games for this coming weekend, and it's the Battle of the Bay. I like this game because the winner of this gets to call themselves the Bay for the rest of the season. Bay of Plenty up against Hawke's Bay. I think the team have got the odds out for that as well. Yep. And they have Bay of Plenty $1.55, Hawke's Bay $2.40. Hawke's Bay look a wee bit of value there, don't they? They have played some very, very, very good footy this season. I guess it's just the home field advantage that is giving the Bay of Plenty the sway there. But there's not too much in this game, is there, Shirley?
No, it's going to be a close one. Both teams will be up for it. Like you said, I love that home field advantage, 2 o'clock in Tauranga. That's going to be packed. The locals will get out for that one. I'm looking forward to this clash. Two sides that looked great last weekend. Hawke's Bay in good form. Bay of Plenty, we know the quality that they possess, and both sides like to play entertaining rugby. So hopefully the sun's out. Haven't checked the forecast, but there's some good games this weekend. That Saturday card is stacked leading into test match footy. Otago versus Taranaki straight after it too. That's a great game of code. Into the Warriors, into the All Blacks. Help yourself.
Pity, if you look at that Battle of the Bay, this is another game. I'm very, very tempted to go either team to win by under 7.5. That's just the nature of not just the Rugby Championship, but the NPC this season. I know there've been a few blowouts, but more than often when the bookies have the two teams rated quite closely, we do get.
Is that close? That's not close, is it?
What?
$2.40 and $1.55?
Yeah, what are they?
We're a bit tighter than that, wouldn't you think?
3.5 point, 4.5 point favourites, aren't they? There's nothing in that, really, is there? Come on.
So it'll be a good game to watch. Just because they're both coming off good wins, good games. I think Bay of Plenty might have the upper hand there with the game against Taranaki. Like Goldie said. Blown opportunities against Bay of Plenty, did Taranaki, but they had to work for it. It wasn't easy, but I think it'll be a pretty close game between the two teams, though, for sure.
Okay, the other game, of course, is the Shield Challenge. Canterbury up against the Tasman Markle, and the bookies really, really do favour the home side here. Canterbury, $1.27, Tasman, $3.60. Canterbury are 9.5-point favourites at home. The game total set at 54.5. The Tasman deserve to be this much of an underdog, Jeff?
Yeah. Yeah, look, Canterbury are 6-6, playing great rugby. It's a super rugby forward pack in regards to guys who may not be starters every week, but they've got plenty of experience. Like Shirley said, loose forward trios working really, really well. Ethan Blackadder ruled out for the season for the Mako as well. That doesn't help them in terms of guys coming back. I'm not sure. Did David Harvey just have the weekend off, or did he?
I think he did, yeah.
He just had the weekend off. He'll help, I think, a little bit. But for me, I think it's fair. I really do. The way that Canterbury are playing, the season to date, and it's not just. It's the fact that their consistency, to me, is that they've got better and better as this competition's gone on. When you go away to Bay of Plenty, you go away to Hawke's Bay. They were away at Wellington, and they've played some good teams away and played really, really well. I just think for me, I think they'll be too tough for Tasman. I really, really do. I just think they'll be too experienced and are playing too well.
Shirley, you going along with Jeff there?
Yeah, I think if there's one team in the comp that wouldn't overcook the celebrations of winning the Shield, it's probably them. They'll be right up for this, and they will want to defend it. And they just look so sure about the way they're playing. They can play multiple different styles, but it's all based off the back of that four-pack and the platform that they lay. They've got strike. They can play conservative. They can play adventurous. And, yeah, I just think with the injuries Tasman have at the moment, that Canterbury will be too good, unfortunately. I'd love to see them lose it, but then I also wouldn't because I want Otago to win it and Harbour to win it off them. So, yeah, it might be a rare time that I'm actually cheering for Canterbury. I hate saying that, but I might actually want them to win this one.
Pity, do you give Tasman any chance?
No, not really.
Wow.
That means they're winning. That means they're winning.
Not with the injuries that they've got, and bringing one person back in is not gonna save them. They've got to be consistent across the board in terms of being able to lift it. So. I can't see them sort of getting the job done over Canada.
I'd mention their forward pack. They've got McLeod, Enor, Fihaki, Punavai. Like it's that's in the backs. Like it's across the board. They've got a good team.
Would Leicester ever get released?
Ooh,
big game if he's just holding tackle pads day after.
Yeah, but is he going to be named?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question because it comes down, obviously, Amoni Narawa is going to be ruled out. I mean, the assumption is that Caleb's going to come straight back in. I mean, that's another debate about what the All Blacks do going into this Test match in regards to, if you were to say, Rico Ioane was on thin ice if you listen to the way Scott Robertson was talking and did one try-saving tackle save his job, like that. There was a remarkable play on the goal line, and all of those things will affect Leicester Whanganuku about, what impact he might have on the game. It just is weird. Realistically, is he fast enough to be an All Black winger? Leicester?
Yeah.
This will be very, very interesting. Okay. How about
you
we
guys
move
don't
on?
know as well as you guys have no idea.
I see him more as a centre. Otherwise, he's that power winger, right? But we do lack our speed. So, yeah.
Let's move on to the pick and go NPC MVP. And I'll just update the standings. Leicester Whanganuku is still at the top on 25 points. Caleb Trask on 15. Josh Jacob on 13, Dylan Pledger 12, and then we've got 3 players on 9 points, Ratumai Tavuki Neepkins, Sam Derry and Lucas Casey, and then plenty more after that. But this week, your points for the weekend just gone, Shirley?
I went with Christie for 5 points. I feel like he hasn't got enough love, and yeah, he's the heartbeat of that Canterbury team. So I went with him for 5 points, just out of recognition. I thought he was great on the weekend, like he is every weekend. I went with Nani Mape for 3 points. I just love watching him play. I thought he was great, getting them over gain line, just runs so hard. And then I went with Fine Anganofo for the 1 point. 3 tries in that game. Looks like an exciting talent. Come across from sevens. Another one of these Bay of Plenty outside backs with plenty of gas and skills to burn. I thought he was good in Super Rugby, but looks like he's gone to another level in the NPC.
Jeff, your 3 players?
Nakora Broughton, I thought for Bay of Plenty off the back was really good at 8. I think he's a player with a lot of talent. I'd love to see it more consistently. I thought he was really, really good. That's my 5
Who's
points.
Who's he with for Super?
Highlanders.
Oh, Highlanders, right.
He just doesn't play a lot. Doesn't play a lot and's been a bit banged up. So whether he's still with them, they're going to have to learn to play with 14 men after the signing of Thomas Labanini. Anyway, I digress. Let's go with something else. Harry Godfrey, 3 points to me. Look, I like Harry Godfrey. He did a really good job for the Hurricanes early season this year. I love the fact he's just getting more time in the 10 jersey. It's one of those things by position. Obviously, no one can play 15, but you watch him plays with plenty of purpose. And Shea Clark, actually, once again, player with a lot of ceiling. I thought just dug in and did some dynamic things for Auckland. He just needs to just get more experience, more time on the park, just get better at his core roles. But for me, I thought it was really influential in terms of helping them get their first win.
Petty?
Ooh. My 5 points was going to Godfrey. Played pretty well against Wellington, which I didn't want that to happen. But I thought he was with time in the saddle. He's actually getting a lot better and more confident within his game. And then I went with Drew Wild from Manawatu, the Turbos.
He's good, man.
He's rapid, a little bit like Carter. Just unorthodox, works pretty hard off the ball, and I thought that he's been pretty huge for the Turbos. And then, like Shirley said, Whinia Nuku, I think it is. Nofa. Whinia Nofo is my last.
I've gone for all forwards this weekend. I've gone for Anton Segner for my 5 points. He just does not stop. He's an absolute workhorse, and he's got skill as well. I've got Christie in there for 3 points. And I also thought, I've got 2 from the Auckland pack. Shea Clark, I thought he was huge on the weekend, and he will only get better. So there we go. I'll total those up, and we'll have a new leaderboard next week. But it doesn't look like Lester Whanganuku will be ousted.
He can't hold on, can he? He's barely played.
Well, he got maximum points from everyone in 1 week, and he hasn't moved since then. So, yeah, it's up to everyone else. I mean, Josh Jacob probably would have got some points in that Shield challenge against Waikato, or defence, that Shield defence, but he made that critical error late in the game where he didn't find touch, kicked it dead, and Waikato were able to go down the other end of the field. But, yeah, at the moment, Lester Whanganuku, he is the top of the pick and go NPC MVP. It's time we'd got to the what we're all here for, a bit of punting. And we'll start with Surly, seeing as he's
Can we start with Pity? Can we start with Pity?
You just want to go the opposite.
I can start.
Okay.
I've got running it back again with either team under 7.5 in that All Black South Africa game. That's at $2.50, so I'm just chucking 50 on that. And then my second bet is an NPC multi. I think Northland pull off what is classed as an upset, but I like them to beat Wellington. They're paying $2.60, which is pretty good odds. Northland at home. Into Bay of Plenty and Southland to bounce back. That's paying $6.44.
Nice. Jeff?
Under 48.5 points in Wellington in the test match. I don't think there'll be soft tries in this game. I think the Springboks will certainly show up defensively a bit more. And I've got New Zealand 1-12. I think we'll back it up. I think we'll go again. Just want to multi that up for the straight 100. It's about $4.90. So just $100 on that.
Oh, nice. So a same game multi, you're taking All Blacks.
Same game multi, under 48.5 and New Zealand 1-12.
Very nice.
Yep.
Nice. Pity. I'll wait for you, then I know where I'm going to go.
I'm going with multi, Wellington, Waikato, Bay of Plenty, Otago, Manawatu, over Auckland, Southland, and then Canterbury. Put 25 on that. And then I'll go AB's 12 and under. Oh, it'll be Aussie before them, eh? Into Aussie 12 and under. I'll put 75 on that.
Holy smokes.
Well,
I was going to try and pick a try scorer, but never mind that.
I like the second one.
I've never been more sure of Northland to beat Wellington now. 260, get on. Watch those odds plummet. Pity the market mover. The market mover.
Oh, gee. I'm just going to take a couple of games in the NPC. I'm going to double them up. I'm going to take Otago to beat Taranaki, and I'm going to take Hawke's Bay to win the Battle of the Bay. That comes out at $5.16. I'll put the whole 100 on at little double there. Otago and Hawke's Bay both to win this weekend. Right. What are you up to this weekend, Shirley? You'll be heading along to Mount Smart?
Yeah, it's going to be Sky Sport Now season for me. I'm going to be watching both games, one on the phone, one in the flesh. Shout out to Ricky Stewart for kicking up a fuss and ruining the hopes of Warriors and All Blacks fans. What a great clash that is in terms of TV schedules. But yeah, I'll be at Mount Smart on Saturday night and yeah, trying to watch the All Blacks at the same time.
Jeff, you'll be down this part of the world this weekend?
Yeah, well, I was hoping I'm going to stay dry. I'm sideline again for the Test match, which is awesome. Grateful and privileged to be there. You know, never take these games for granted, but you get the chance to work on them. So there'll be another great atmosphere. You know, there was so much hype and build-up going into this game in Auckland. I just hope that doesn't get lost in Wellington, you know, because this is just as big, other than the record. It's the fact that we're playing against this rival that is, you know, it is our greatest rival, you know, and so for us to back it up would be massive. And so I'll be interested to see, you know, because it was a great energy in Eden Park, because a lot of Springbok fans, a lot of All Black fans as well, clearly, and there was waves of support as the game went on. And so I get the sense hopefully we get that down in Wellington as well. So it'll be game on, and you know, I think as the week goes on, the intensity will lift up again, you know, because the pressure comes on. This is another massive test, so I'm looking forward to it.
Were you surprised, Jeff, at the team South Africa name, given the conditions in Wellington? Like, I thought the first team, kicking-wise, may have suited these conditions more. They've gone with a team, to me, that signals an intent to play and throw the footy around, and I'm not sure if conditions will allow that. Yeah,
it's an interesting one, but I think as well, you know, the Pollard-LaRue combination, it almost tells you how they're going to play. Whereas there is enough there to take and play both ways. I think they can play both their kicking game and their willingness to counter-attack. And Feinberg Mamazulu is a good, talented player. He's got the kicking skills to play a little bit differently. Now, I actually, in some ways, if I'm a Springbok fan, I'd like this team a little bit better than what I saw last weekend. I think it's got a little bit more about it. The only change, obviously, I'm not sure Jesse Creel not being in the squad. Not sure why. With I think Moody's gone to centre. How that changes things for them in terms of their physicality and their defence, I'll be very interested in that. That's the one area to me I think the All Blacks will actually like to see that change, because Creel's been such a big part of that Springbok backline. So him not being involved, I'm assuming he must be injured. They must have come through that. I didn't see anything else. So, yeah, I think it's a different team, and this is them trying to give guys more experience, but also with the same token, I think it's looking to the future a little bit more.
There must be something not 100% with Creel because he goes from captain 1 week to out the back door. So, yeah, I can understand Rassie wanting to make a few changes, but, yeah, a brand new midfield pairing, it's very interesting. And what's happened to the bomb squad? Is he just holding that back for World Cup years so that we don't get an idea of just how tough it's going to be against the bomb squad?
Well, maybe he's doing exactly what he wants you to do, and you're in your head thinking about what he's doing.
What is he doing? What is he not doing? Is Jeff going to be at Royal Wellington this weekend? Is he bringing the clubs?
No. It's quiet week this week. I will say this: Jasper Visa comes back after his suspension as well. Man, he's going to be hissing. He's going to in this loose forward combination with Khaleesi on the loose forwards. I'm not going to be playing golf this week. I'll be zoned in. I'm in the zone preparing for this dispatch. Well, maybe tomorrow and the next day, but not on Friday. It's just maybe not down in Wellington. How about that?
Are you sure, Goldie? You got to have balance in work and life, and I'm pretty sure
maybe it's not too late. If you're talking about that split, though, Esther Hazen, don't be surprised if you see him play some minutes on the side of the scrum.
Ooh.
He trains at 6 and he trains at 12. So if they feel as though they need him, he's their hybrid player in their reserves. So essentially they have got a 6-2 split. It's there if they want it.
Pity, what are you up to?
Oh, not much actually.
Why? You going to the game?
I never go to the game. I'd rather swear in my own four walls when no one looks at me. I done that when I was playing and looked around and seen the families and the kids. I'm just going to go in the players' lounge and just swear in there where no one can look at me like, what the hell? So, no, I don't go to the games.
I must admit, that's why I prefer. That's why I prefer being at the game as well. Because when they're on tour and I'm watching, hey, it's no fun in my house. Honestly, it's no good.
Oh, gee. Righty-ho. We've done it again.
What are you up to?
I'm going to go along to the game on Saturday night, and I'll have the phone on at the stadium, watching 2 games at once, watching the end of one game and in the middle of another one. So
you're doing the opposite to
Surly. Yeah,
he's watching live on the one beforehand.
Yes, yeah. Did the Warriors win this week, lads?
Yeah.
No. What?
Yeah, no. Okay.
Oh, come on.
Oh, he's gone. He's just.
Oh, he's gone. He's out of here. Oh.
Yep.
That's us for this week.
Yeah, that is us.
The conversation.
Look out for us on the Advantage Line, our rugby league podcast, where surely I'm not sure if he's going to turn up.
Tell you what. Sorry, I needed a second to calm down. Sorry.
So you could swear at the 4 walls without us.
Literally. I just did a pity from the comfort of my studio. I'm back now. But yeah, we won, Goldie. We won, mate. Don't worry.
Okay.
There's nothing more I'd love to see than the Wars.
Oh, it's too late for that, Paulie. You've already spoken with your heart, mate. Pipe down.
If you're asking where I'm putting my money, I'll tell you what. I'm going to have a same-game multi, and it's going to be full of Panthers players. That's
and if
all
you
I'm
ask
saying.
me what I wanted Paulie's same-game multi to look like, it would be exactly that. So I'm stoked to hear that. And I know Pity's going on the Panthers too because he's a great New Zealander and he's going to help the boys out.
Oh, righty, that's it. We better get out there before Shirley just jumps again. Anyway, thanks for joining us here on a rugby union podcast called The Pick and Go. You can join Shirley, well, maybe Shirley. He may not be happy on the Advantage Line next time. See you later.
See ya.